So I want to make a quick video in response to something I saw today, which is Draft2Digital's new author website or author landing pages. And I want to give some feedback because people are asking me, what do you think about this? Is this a good idea? Generally, I think it's really cool. It's very smart of Draft2Digital to start doing this because they already have a lot of book data. So basically all they're doing, if you already have an author profile, you already have your books, they're just setting up a little landing page so you can have a place online that's your author page where you can list your books, you can have a bio, you can have links to buy your book on Amazon or reviews. It's a really nice looking page. I've seen similar things done before. I've seen landing pages for authors and I've recommended some in the past. I think it's smart that Draft2Digital is doing it because a lot of people are publishing with them anyway, so they already have your books. It's probably an easier process to get your page set up. However, I also want to comment on a pretty fundamental difference between an author platform or an author website or like a WordPress blog and a landing page or a sales page for your book. So if you just want to set something up quickly, then yes, you kind of just want a landing page. You want something with your name, your book, your reviews. You want something that looks good, that gets a sale, so that when you're talking about your book or linking to your book, if you don't already have an author platform, it's important to send them somewhere. So if you have a page that looks nice and is well designed and is kind of built to maximize conversion or to get the sale, like Draft2Digital pages are, because they're pretty clean, they look pretty good, it might be a good idea to send traffic straight there. However, 2 points. The first is that even though it's built to convert or built to sell, even though it looks professional, it looks well designed, you're probably not going to get as much conversion as you would just sending them straight to Amazon. Amazon should be your highest converting page. Your Amazon book page should have all the keywords and reviews and benefits and everything so that when people land on your Amazon page, they buy the book. Sometimes you kind of need to warm them up first. So if it's a harder sale, maybe it's a more expensive book, or maybe you're just not selling very well and you really need to warm them up with other considerations, that might be the place where perhaps a landing page would do that for you. But I'm skeptical of that because actually, if you can't sell the book on your Amazon page, if you're sending the right people who are interested in that topic or those kind of books and they're not buying, they're not converting, that's a problem with your Amazon page. That's something you need to fix right away. And I think if they do need more work, then you probably want to get them on your website where you have lots of content, lots of good content, or lots of stories, or get them on your email list sooner so you can start building a relationship or building trust or credibility with an autoresponder series. Basically, if it's not a one-click sale and you need more time to convince them to buy the book, then you really need to get them on your email list. But the second major consideration with landing pages, like the new Draft2Digital feature, is that if it's not built for content, if it's not a blog where you can post lots of valuable, keyword-rich content that attracts your readers naturally, then you have to drive all the traffic. So if you have a page online, it doesn't really mean anything unless you're sending traffic there. So how are you driving the traffic? Either with direct paid advertising, Facebook ads, because Amazon ads just go to the book. So it's probably Facebook or Google ads. It could be engagement in social media groups, or if you build a huge Facebook or Twitter community or Instagram, if you have a lot of followers, you can send them to that sales page. But again, if you already have a big audience, you should just send them to your Amazon page. So the value of an author website would be to attract the right audience. And I think there's some potential because Draft2Digital is a pretty big site. I don't think they're going to have a store where they group all of the authors together by subject, although that would be really interesting and probably increase discoverability. My guess is they're not going to do that. Also, like BookBub, you can set up a profile on BookBub and get people to follow you, which may or may not help to get a BookBub deal, but it gives you kind of a place. It's just basically another profile online where you can list your books and things. But what you really want to focus on is discoverability. So where can you host your content that gets found in search results? If you're just starting out with an author website, and this is something I wanted to touch on before, but if you have a really ugly author website, if you've set something up basically in Weebly or Wix or WordPress, but you don't really know site design, it's kind of a mess, you have lots of different crap all over the place, there's lots of common mistakes most authors continue to make on their author website. So I would say pretty confidently that the majority of author websites aren't good for credibility. They're not selling the book. They're distracting and confusing. Even if you get the reader, think of it kind of like as a web, as a spider web. Even if you get a reader into your spider web, if there's nothing for them to latch onto, if they don't know why they're there or what content you have or what you offer, or you don't have anything that they want to sign up for, or you're not sending them to a book that sounds interesting, your website's basically doing nothing. So they're just coming in and out of your website without ever making any contact or signing up to your list or buying your book or anything. In which case, it's nice to have an author website, but if it's not doing anything for you, it's kind of a waste of space. And so personally, I'm a big fan and believer in content marketing, which just means I use my WordPress author website to put a lot of valuable content that attracts my readers, so that readers who are not searching for me, but they're searching for my genre, something of mine will show up and they'll land on my website, and then they can find out about me or my books. And most authors aren't doing that. So most authors, you should always rank #1 if people are searching for you by name. The problem is, how do you get them to know who you are so that they're searching for you? And what needs to happen is, if they're searching for your genre, they're searching for best new sci-fi books November 2018 or whatever, you want to show up somehow. And so there's a lot of considerations for how to show up in organic search results, but generally you need some kind of site authority. So if you have a new blog or author website with not very much content, not very many links pointing back, even if you actively send traffic to that website but it's not doing anything, you're probably losing sales, which means you might as well just send them straight to Amazon. In which case, like I said, perhaps it's better to send people straight to a Draft2Digital page or a nice clean landing page that's focused on conversion, whether that's buying the book or signing up to your email list. However, I would be curious about experimenting with some SEO stuff. So for example, I have a lot of blogs or websites. I've bought a lot of high site authority expired domains so that I can build links pointing back to my content so that it shows up. So when people search for how to write a book, how to publish a book, it's very competitive, but I want to show up for keywords. Or for my fiction stuff like best fallen angel romances or best mermaid romances, I can rank for that stuff because few authors are actually trying to focus on site discoverability or SEO or anything like that. I've been building these sites up for years, but if you're just starting off and you try to make that kind of content, it's going to be difficult to compete with someone who has a bigger, more stable platform, which is why links from high site authority domains can really increase your SEO. So for example, setting up an author page on Draft2Digital, which is a pretty big website, and building links back to your main website might help you out. If lots of authors are doing that, it might not help you out. So what you really want to do is focus on keyword anchor links. So I would be like best mermaid romance novels for teens, and I would highlight that whole keyword phrase and link it back to one of my posts or pieces of content about young adult mermaids to boost the discoverability. I don't just want random links. I want to choose my keywords specifically that I want to rank for. So I would use Draft2Digital for something like that. I think it would be awesome if Draft2Digital also had a blogging feature, so I could, for example, focus on my top 5 keywords, write 5 really good articles about those keywords and put them on a blog on my author profile on Draft2Digital to link back to my main content. I think links like that from a big site like Draft2Digital could really help. Also, I wonder if it would be easier to rank a Draft2Digital author website. So for example, if people search for Derek Murphy or they search for D.S. Murphy or my books, I show up pretty quickly in Google anyway, so that it's pretty easy to find me if they know what they're looking for. But I wonder, like if I'm writing something like book marketing, and book marketing is really competitive and there's lots of other stuff, I'm not on the first page of Google anymore. I'm probably on like page 5. So I'm working on getting back to the first page of Google. But in the meantime, I wonder if writing a post or a piece of content on Draft2Digital, which is like book marketing for indie authors, I wonder if publishing content on Draft2Digital's platform would rank better because it's a bigger, higher trusted, higher authority site. So if it's possible, I noticed this recently, some of my courses, I have courses in Teachable, which I wasn't even trying to rank at all because I send my direct traffic to my courses, so I'm not worried about them showing up. But I noticed that some of my courses actually show up in Google search results because Teachable is a really big platform. So now I'm thinking, like, instead of trying so hard to rank my own content on my blogs and stuff, I could point my links to my Teachable courses to get my Teachable courses to link to show up on the first page of Google for certain keywords. I need to like redo the content on those pages to see that to make sure they're going to show up and to make sure they look right. When they show up in the Google search results, you still want it to look like something good enough and interesting that people are going to click on it and go over to. But so I kind of wonder about that, if I could use Draft2Digital's platform to build either some content that gets ranked to the first page of Google, or for some links pointing back to my own content so that my content shows up more on the first page of Google. So that's what I'm excited about. That's what I think you should be thinking about in terms of using Draft2Digital's new author platform. It's probably better than nothing, or it may even be better than your crappy author website. If you have a crappy author website that you're not proud of, or is not doing anything, is not getting any traffic, is not building your email list, then maybe you want to drive traffic somewhere else until you've cleaned it up a bit. There's not really any downside if you're already on Draft2Digital. I recommend playing with the feature and seeing what you can do with it. But I would be thinking about building links back to the main content that you want to show up. So not content like Derek Murphy's books, which is already going to show up. You want content like best books for teens similar to Harry Potter, something that's like really specific, that will attract your readers, that will show up in search results. And then you want a really great long article with lots of valuable information that's worth sharing or commenting on, and then also probably has your book at the bottom or your book in the sidebar, or a call to action like, if you like these, sign up and get my book for free and you'll also like it. It's similar to the stuff you're searching for. Stuff like that. So that's my thoughts and feedback. I hope this video helps a little bit. I also know that most authors, they don't want to worry about blogging or SEO. They don't want to write articles. They don't want to worry about organic traffic or anything like that. The problem is when you don't worry about organic visibility, that means you have to drive all the traffic, and it's very expensive because you're competing against millions of other authors. At least, no, I would probably say most authors aren't advertising, so maybe like tens of thousands of authors per genre who are advertising. Maybe not even that much, but you're competing against other people who are also trying to drive traffic to their own books or their own websites, and you always have to pay for it. Unless you're building your own platform, you always have to pay, and you'll always have to pay more to reach the readers that you want, and then try to convert some of them into book sales. So that's what most authors do. It works really well, it's very powerful, but it's not sustainable, and you don't control the audience, and you'll always have to be pumping a big cut of your earnings. I have friends who make $30,000 or $40,000 a month in Kindle sales, but they're spending half of it on ads, which is still great. It's still a lot of money, and I would like to be doing that pretty soon too, once I have a few more books out. But my point is, I can do that, and I can also be. I don't think it's a choice. I see a lot of people saying, well, blogging is too much work, or sending organic traffic is too much work. I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to deal with advertising, or I just want to pay for promotion. I just want to pay someone to take over and handle this stuff for me. And then they're doing like short-term marketing blasts. So they'll do a marketing blast to launch a new book, but it won't be selling 3 months later or 6 months later, and they're not building their traffic. So I'm a big believer of building your own organic traffic to your own websites that you own, that you control, and trying to funnel that into an email list, which is also direct access to your readers and your audience. So that's what I try to do. I also think advertising is great, and I will also focus on advertising in the future, but I don't have to depend on it. So if I'm not advertising, my books still sell because people are still finding my websites and still signing up to my email list or going through my funnels. So a lot of my selling happens on autopilot, or my books just show up in search results because I know what I'm doing in terms of content marketing and SEO and stuff. And this stuff isn't terribly complicated. I break it down in a lot of my videos. It's really just a matter of focusing on what readers are actually searching for and seeing if you can create content that shows up to match what they're searching for. Most authors aren't doing it, so it's not that hard to start doing it well and to stand out and getting some visibility. So that's my feedback. Hope it helps. Let me know if you have any questions about author websites or how to set up an author website. I'm going to make a new series soon I have a series on authoridentity.com about setting up an author website in WordPress, but I'd like to make some new content for 2018, really focusing on how to set up an author website quickly, what kind of content to build, how to like design it and lay it out, and what you should have where, common mistakes authors make. I'm going to do a whole new video series soon on that stuff. So even if you already have an author website, like I said, most author websites are pretty bad and doing a lot of things wrong. So it's worth at least fixing what you've got and making sure that you make it pretty and make it convert better and get rid of a lot of the garbage. I just did this on my website where I removed tons of the distractions and the sidebar buttons and bells and whistles, and I got a lot better about fixing my own platform. So there's always room for improvement.